Yes, Hazur, I have, there is a hadith for the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I have two questions from that hadith. First, it says that most of the inhabitants of hell are from the women.
Women.
What is meant by this?
And the second question?
The second question is naqisati aqlin wa deen. What is also meant?
Where is the sanad of this?
It's from Bukhari. Sahih Bukhari.
Naqisat aql wa deen. I have already spoken on this subject in detail with reference to other editions, but I'll explain it once again. Number one, Ahmad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in the same hadith has mentioned the reason why. Because they are ungrateful, more ungrateful than men are. And this is something which leads them to be ungrateful to God. It is not just because they are ungrateful to their husbands that they will be found more in number in hell. The principle which commands this is "Man lam yashkur an-nasa lam yashkur Allah." This is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself mentioned. So he had solved the problem already. Providing us this key. If anyone is ungrateful to Allah, how can he be rewarded with heaven? Because you always win reward by your gratitude. If your child is not aware of what the parents do, what you do for your children, and they take with one hand what you receive and turn out and look back as if you were the servant of the child, would you ever feel like granting him more and more and loving him more? Certainly not. Even I've seen the mothers, their heart is also withered towards such children. And those who are grateful, they become dearer and nearer to the parents. So God has created man in his own nature. This is also the meaning of that. So if humans are ungrateful to God, they do not win any rewards from him. And ingratitude is a very big crime. It leads to many other crimes. So remember this is true in women more than in men. I receive many complaints of family disputes, and I have noticed this myself in cases where I know women personally, even if their husbands have been kind to them throughout their lives, if they have been spending money on them and earning the money hard way, if they start giving it to their poor sisters or parents, look at the reaction of the woman. She kicks up a shindy and says, "This husband is so cruel. Whatever he earns, he gives it to his sisters, his mother, his relatives. And I'm always a pauper. He never spends anything on me." And I know some of them whom I know personally. I'm amazed at their attitude. The husband is honest husband, a good working person. He owes his gratitude to his parents as well. He owes his responsibilities to other relatives. It's no fault of his, because Sila Rahmi is an injunction of the Holy Quran. And the women react most often like this. There are some who are exceptions, of course. Some react beautifully. Even they are kinder to the relatives of the husband than the husbands themselves are. So, but in the large number, we are talking of large numbers. This is the routine which I have mentioned to you. This is the truth. There is nothing to be angry about it. This is a hard fact, is it not? So when you are ungrateful to humans, you are also ungrateful to God. When you are ungrateful to God, you are also ungrateful to humans. So it's a very serious crime. And if God is just, He should not ignore this crime in women. In other places, God has paid compliments to women as has never been paid to any humans, any men. The Holy Prophet ﷺ told us that your Jannah lies under the feet of your mothers. Are mothers men or women? So those who are told to go to hell, more in number, Jannat is to be drawn from their feet, from under their feet. And this attempt to draw Jannat from their feet, in fact, infuriates the wives against the mothers, to whom husband is paying his duty. So fantastic in contrast. He wants to seek Jannah from under the feet of his mother by serving her kohar, by trying to make her comfortable in her old age. And the wife reacts and wants him to go to hell along with her. He wouldn't, she would, because it's her fault. So the reason is obvious. But I hope very few people react like this, very few ladies do this, but this is only my hope. The second thing is naqisatul aql wa deen. About naqisatul aql, I have no tradition worthy of acceptance. Because if it contradicts the Quran, and if it contradicts the experience of Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then that part of hadith must be wrong. It cannot be accepted. Hazrat sallallahu alaihi wasallam took advice and counsel from his wives, and ladies many a time gave wonderful advice to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he accepted them and respected them for this. The Holy Quran presents the case of Malka Sheba, and it presents that case in a most wonderful way. All the men's wisdom is nothing as compared to the wisdom of that lady who ruled them. And the Holy Quran supports her. Her decision was right, proved right later on. And the decision of her courtiers and great wise people was proved wrong. So when the Holy Quran presents the case of a lady of such immense and exceptional wisdom, how can Rasulullah ﷺ say they are naqisatul aql? Moreover, mothers bring up their children in such wonderful way, and they don't show any signs of being naqisatul aql. We don't see any signs of their being naqisatul aql in their studies, education, in their experience of life. So Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam couldn't have said something which contradicted the verdict of the Quran, that contradicted his own conduct and the human experience. Because naqisat fi deen is true. This is a statement of fact, because they have periods in which they can't say namaz for a week. Then they have, because constitutionally they are different, they have to carry children in their tummies, in the uterus, and during that period they can't perform ibadat as women who are not pregnant, they can do. But at least during menses, they are deprived of going to the mosque, reading the Quran, and performing this and that. Moreover, because of certain other constitutional differences, they cannot lead the prayer to men. And in many areas, they are left naqisat. They can't reach the perfection which men can. But this is constitutional. And this is true. Everybody has to accept it. It's not a question of Muslims accepting it because Rasulullah ﷺ said it. No man on earth can deny this. So that part I accept. And the first I have already explained. But about naqisatul aql, I doubt if it was the verdict of Rasulullah ﷺ.
سؤال میں عربی.
You see, Hazrat Khadija, Hazrat Aisha, Hazrat Fatima, Radhiyallahu anhunna, they all excellent examples of wonderful brains, brilliant. Hazrat Khadija was an excellent trades lady who had earned immense wealth because of her wonderful mind and quality of her dealings and understanding of business and trade. So that is what I'm saying. Whatever is the finding of Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, how can he contradict that? Right?
Apart from the hadith, when they asked why, he said, أَلَيْسَ شَهَادَةُ الْمَرْأَةِ مِثْلَ نِصْفِ شَهَادَةُ الرَّجُلِ.
That again is something which I have explained. That shows, and I was thinking of adding, but I thought I had said too much. I have that in mind. In one of my sermons, I had explained it. The fact is that in financial affairs, women are not as competent in general. Exceptions there are, as I have quoted, the case of Khadija radhiyallahu anha. But in most cases, even in the Western society, very rarely women understand the finances. And that is why they are left mostly to men. And as such, if they are to stand in the witness box and the matters relate to finances, which generally they don't deal in, it's very likely that they may misunderstand something, and because of that the shahada becomes wrong. So that shows that they are not inferior to men in their quality of truth. They are only inferior in the sense that in financial affairs they generally are not involved. That is why they are not trained. And I have seen, my wife always, when it came to finances and business, she always discussed the matters with me. She would never take a decision without consulting me. But I never had to consult her on these things. And this is the normal routine of women everywhere in the world. In matters of finances, they take care, they consult their husbands or brothers and things, and then take final decisions, because some people can deceive them. So this is a hard fact, a reality, which is not a quality, it is a result of a situation. In most cases, particularly at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, economy was largely driven by men. So as such, men had more experience. And even today, in many countries of the world, the economy is almost monopolized by men. So they understand financial matters better. It's a simple statement of facts. There's nothing to be excited about.
The question in Arabic.
السؤال عن حديث.
Oh, the question is not yet said. You see, the Holy Quran is very clear on one subject, that if men are good, they will be rewarded. If women are good, they will be rewarded. And it discusses the issue in detail, leaves nothing out. So, no meaning of that hadith is right if it contradicts this. So there is nothing wrong or nothing to be afraid of for ladies. If they follow this verse, they will have equal rights with men. It's impossible for God to push them to hell because they are women. It should be well, ladies must gain full confidence, because the verse I have in mind is Innal Muslimina wal Muslimate wal Mu'minina wal Mu'minat wal Qanitina wal Qanitat was Sadiqina was Sadiqat was Sabirina was Sabirat wal Khashiina wal Khashiat wal Mutasaddiqina wal Mutasaddiqat والصائمين والصائمات والحافظين فروجهم والحافظات والذاكرين الله كثيرا والذاكرات أعد الله لهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما. How could these ladies be pushed to hell because they're ladies? It's impossible. See? In fact, there no distinction is made. A sabir man will be sabir lady would be rewarded by God exactly as a sabir man will be. So any meaning of a hadith which contradicts such clear statements of the Quran is not acceptable. You are attributing meanings to Rasulullah which he never meant. So this is the guideline. After that, no question arises. Right? And on the contrary, we have a hadith, which is exactly the opposite to the meaning of this generally understood hadith. It says that some people will be so evil that hell will be destined for them. But they would have two daughters who would be pious and God-fearing. They would stand between him and the hell and say, oh God, he was so kind to us, he did this and did that. That's all right. For your sake I leave. So women are known to us by Rasulullah's word to have saved their parents from hell. How could by nature they go to hell more? In light of this verse and in light of the hadith I have quoted, there is nothing to be objectionable if you understand the meaning correctly. If you interpret from your own side, if the mullah says, oh, women, you go to hell. If a husband becomes cruel to women by quoting this hadith, you are hellish, you must. He will go to hell, I'm quite sure, not the women. And the last thing, what will a husband do in Jannah if his wife is burning in hell? What will a mother do if her sons are enjoying in hell and she is burning in hell? It's impossible. The Holy Prophet ﷺ tells us different stories, the real ones, true ones. He says, if a husband is better and highly placed, his wife will be brought from a low status to him. If a wife is better and highly placed, the husband will be brought from down up to her. This is the grace of Allah, ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ. And the hadith which I quoted about two girls, proves this. So what sort of heaven that would be? Where most of our relatives, lady relatives are burning in hell, and how can we enjoy heaven? I can't. Okay, the time is over? Okay. You see, one thing I'm so grateful to Allah for is that He will not appoint a court comprising of mullahs in the hereafter. But shaykh will not be nowhere. If they were to decide, everybody would go to hell and their property would be taken over by the mullahs. So it's the beauty of the Holy Quran is God alone would be there. Malik Yawmuddin, Yawma la tamliku nafsun li nafsin shay'a. The beauty of the Day of Judgment. That no man will have possessed anything for himself. He will be dispossessed. Only God will. And about him we have another hadith. Rasulullah says that God will speak to people when He will forgive them. He said, and this is a Persian ilham of Hazrat Rasulullah which is quoted by great holy people, so we believe them to be true. It says, Garna Baksham, I mushte khakra, Garna Baksham, Chikunam. Or the verse to this effect, I may have missed one letter, Persian or not, but I think this is the verse. I mushte khakra, Garna baksham chekunam. This handful of dust, this man, if I don't forgive, what shall I do? So God will seek excuses to forgive, not excuses to burn people in hell. Only those will rot who would earn the hell because they would worship Satan. Only shirk it is, which is unpardonable. And as such, I don't see women are more mushrikat than men. They share it equally. So hell is, I believe, finally will be an exclusive place for mushrikeen and mushrikat. Assalamu alaikum.